Many organizations do some form of process improvement. Few do continuous process management, that is, continuous assessment of process performance to be sure that process improvement resources are applied for optimum results. Process performance improvement is the main game for sure. However, to optimize the global impact of process improvement, we must choose the correct processes to improve and then actively manage them to maintain the new level of organizational performance. Many benefits flow from enhanced process management, and the main benefit is much better process improvement. Let's explore that a little more. Process improvement alone is not enough. Process-based management also requires management. So almost every organization is doing some form of improvement. We're trying to make things work better. It's in the DNA of every organization, surely. And that's a long way, though, perhaps from having a methodical, systemic way of doing process improvement. But even if there is such a method and it's broadly used, it's still not enough. We need to remember in all of our process work that the M in BPM stands for management. We're trying to manage our organization by managing that set of cross-functional processes by which we create, accumulate and deliver our value, that's our products and services and experiences, to customers and other stakeholders. That's what it's all about. So it's as well to remind ourselves regularly that the M in BPM stands for management. And what we're doing is we're choosing a process, we're improving that process where improvement is possible, perhaps because we're fixing a problem or perhaps because we're capitalizing on some new idea. And we don't stop there, though. We have to go on and prove or test what happened as a result of the change that we've made. So we choose, we improve, and we prove. And that's a kind of drumbeat of process management. This is what we're doing all of the time, particularly for those high-impact processes that we're actively managing. But first and fundamental choice that we've got to make before we can get anywhere near doing the best process improvement is to be choosing the best process. Because if we can't choose the best process, then we can't deliver the best process improvement. So we've got hundreds, we've got thousands, we've got tens of thousands of processes, depending where we're working in our hierarchy of processes. So which of those should we choose? Where is the best return on process? It's a very important decision, isn't it? It's fundamental. Because if we pick the wrong process, we can't have the best improvement. So we need some way of thinking about that. How are we going to choose the best process to improve? And we've seen this diagram before in previous videos, haven't we? The Tregear circles. 2 circles, and they will help us make this decision. Choose wisely, firstly about which process to improve, and then to get on and improve it. So when we're looking at using the circles, in the PO circle, we're looking at a particular process. We're going to set our process KPIs and targets. We're going to assess performance. We'll assess new ideas, and then we'll respond. One of the 3 things that we can do is to say, yes, there is an idea for us to test, or there's a problem for us to fix or preempt, and we'll trigger a process improvement project. So the circles are very important in enabling us to make that wise choice about which process to improve. Even if we're dealing with a subset of the high impact processes, that's still 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 processes. That's still a lot. And we can't work on them all, perhaps at the same time. So which ones are we going to choose? So the PO circle will help us do that. And then the PR circle helps us get on and actually deliver the improvement. Another way to think about it is this performance framework, and we've also seen this in a previous video, but here we start at the top and we'll define the process architecture. What are our processes? And we'll do that starting with strategy and work our way into architecture. And then once we've got an architecture, then we can start saying for each process that we want to look at, what does good look like? We can define the performance that we're looking for, the process KPIs and their targets. And we can do that in conjunction with stakeholders and make sure we've got a good, solid understanding about what good would look like for performance of this process. And having done that, then we can move on to manage that performance. We'll collect the data. We'll look for performance gaps, that's opportunity gaps or problem gaps. If there is a gap, we'll assess its impact. What's the impact of fixing it? What's the impact of not fixing it? And if there's a business case for change, we get on and make the change. And in that way, we're doing quite a nice mix of continuous process management and continuous process improvement. And you can see that both of those things working nicely together together there so that we're getting the best outcome. So let's summarize. We need both management and improvement. The purpose of good management is to give us better improvement. And we'll be going through that cycle of choose, improve, and prove. We choose the right process, we improve the process, and then we get on and prove what happened as a result of the changes we made to the process. And we keep that cycle going. That's the continuous piece. And we're doing continuous management as well as continuous improvement, because we need to be continuously choosing the processes that we want to improve. And so the whole point of process management, of course, is to enable good process improvement. And good process improvement is the purpose of process-based management.